Alors, bonsoir tout le monde. Bienvenue à cette dernière réunion de l'année, qui est une réunion ordinaire.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this meeting, the last regular public meeting of the year. So without any further ado, we will welcome you here. And colleagues, please accept the things that you cannot change, the courage to accept the things that you cannot change, and the courage and the wisdom to know the difference.
Place.
There's something relatively important that took place at the municipality with the firefighting services. So we'd like to inform the population tonight about it. Following thorough reflection, we've decided to put an end to the volunteer firefighter program starting December 31st, 2015. It hasn't been an easy decision because the contribution of the volunteer firefighters since the creation of the fire department in Dieppe has been incredible. Nonetheless, the complexity of the work of the firefighters in an urban environment is constantly increasing with the evolution of technologies, the development of the industrial park, and the increase of our population. This situation jeopardizes the security of our volunteer firefighters. We cannot and we do not want to take that risk. We wish to thank the volunteer firefighters for their important contribution to the fire services of Dieppe. Without your dedication, your service, our service would not have known the success of the past and wouldn't be where it's at today. So once again, to all the firefighter volunteers, present day and past, great thanks from the municipality. So, do we have a quorum? Are there any conflicts of interest? None. So, we go immediately to the adoption of the agenda with the striking of one item, 10.2. 10.1.2. Councillor Cormier moves, seconded by Councillor Thibodeau on the question. All those in favor of the resolution? Carried. I would like to thank the people who have set up the beautiful decoration. I'm going to have to do a little bit like a boxer. Going to have to, in order to see the members of council behind the beautiful decorations, but we'll work it out. Item 7, presentations, inquiries, petitions, starting by inquiries by council members to the Kodiak Regional RCMP, and like to highlight the presence of Inspector George, who is with us tonight. Good evening. So are there any questions from members of council? If not, the only thing that I would want to ask would be to forward our best wishes for the holiday season and the New Year's to all the members of Kodiak, members from the people of Dieppe. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to say the same thing. Have a great holiday, and I've also had the request for more patrol on Amiro Street. I know that the new section, yeah, it rides pretty well, doesn't it? Yes. So we continue to patrol the area. And I know that we received a call Saturday night. I wasn't aware of this call. So usually I'd like to notify you when these things occur, but I didn't learn until later. But all things were okay. There are no injuries. So as far as we're concerned, but it was a question of health. Thank you. So have a nice evening. Are there any questions, presentations by members of the public? None. Okay, that was item 8. Now, item 9, adoption of minutes for the regular council meeting held on November 23rd, 2015. Moved by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Brideau. On the question, all those in favor can signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. So the minutes of the 23rd of November have been adopted as presented. Item 10. Motions, memorandums, nominations. I think that's administration. Mr. Melanson. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. So the first item you have before you, it's been discussed. It's a intermunicipal agreement proposal with Capelé. This is a question of bylaw enforcement by the city of Dieppe with Capelé by the city of Dieppe. So we had resources available. So all the elements, items in the agreement specify the details, the responsibility of Capelé. So this is to make this agreement public, and council is requested to consider it tonight. So for the reading of the resolution, Madame Dallaire. That council authorize the mayor and chief administrative officer to sign the service agreement regarding the enforcement of bylaws for the village of Capelé by officers provided by the city of Dieppe. Moved by Councillor Dallaire, seconded by Councillor Brideau. On the question. No questions. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Resolution is carried as presented. 10.2, finances. I think we're going to be asking our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Stéphane Thériault. I almost forgot his name. I'm going to ask him to go to the podium to give us his presentation of the 2016 budget. Thank you, Your Worship, members of the council, staff, members of the public. So to start for the presentation, I'd first of all like to give you a slight summary since last time we met, the 24th of November last. For the tax base, we'd estimated an increase of 3.5%. We are now at 3.26%, which is a lack of 170,000. The grant for financing and the equalization payment, 33,000. For fines in New-Brunswick, the provincial government is putting an end to this sharing program. That's a loss of 82,000. There's an adjustment of 5,000 for the payment in lieu of taxes. In French, it's PVRI. That's a total of 150,000 that we had to look for elsewhere because of these decreases. During the presentation of the RCMP, they had mentioned that they had borrowed for a radio service, radio equipment, for over 10 years instead of 3 years. That's a slight rebate for us. It's approximately total cost of 68,000. The grant to organizations and awards is a 15,000 extra. And where I was able to, which helped me to work on the deficit, was the debt service. We're talking about the present-day debt, the loan that we have, right, which is going to start on the 18th of December this year. This loan I had estimated at 3.5%. It's actually 2.7%. So there's been a savings for capital and interest. Equally for loans for next year, they had been estimated maybe a little too high. So we're able to reduce the interest. This is where we get the 97,000. That's a total 150,000 to fill the gap. So first of all, we're going to start with the general operating budget. Revenue, like I said earlier, the tax base increased by 3.26%. The property taxes, an increase of 1.5 cents. That's equivalent to approximately $430,000, increase of approximately 1% on the tax base. For the tax base, it was 2.8 million. It's now at 2.89 million, an increase of 91 million. For the equalization payment and the financing grant is an increase of 3.7%, 33,000, and surplus from previous years. So we compare the surplus of 2013 to 2014, and it's an increase of almost 250,000, which is a total budget of increase of the total budget of 4.4% and 2.1 million. The 2.1 million, we see it in the expenses, and this is what you have before you here. RCMP Kodiak, an increase of 7.2%, 360,000. Adapt ability transport, 30% increase, that's 40,000 extra. Controllable expenses, 4.8%. You'll have to remember that the controlled expenses, these are operations excluding salary. And it's an increase of 4.8%. But if you remember, at the presentation of the 24th of November, we had talked about new items to make do with the reality, increase in snow removal. We're talking about 600,000 new items. For example, the Doiron house for the renovations, 70,000. We're talking about the participatory budget, that's 250,000 extra, etc. So if we eliminate these new expenses, and it's 4% less than what we were able to do on the operational. Capital on operations, this is a key element, an increase of 18%, which is really good. The most that we can increase this, the less loans we're going to have to get. This is 18%, which is an increase of $600,000. Debt service, with the loans that we've had this year, we're talking about 6.2% to reimburse the debt. This is the pie chart, all the expenses of the municipality, the main ones. The total budget is 50.3 million. In 2016, the debt was 15.9%, and this is our debt ratio, 15.9. Operations capital, 8% approximately, which is good. Administration, 8%. Police, 10.8%. Fire, 10.5%. Transportation, 9.7%, etc. Where do the revenue come from? For the city of Dieppe, mainly it's the tax base, 92% of property taxes. That's the revenue. That's 46.2 million. 6.2% from other revenue, the arena, the aquatic center, building permits, or surplus from previous years. That's 6.2%. And the communication and equalization grant, that represents 1.8% of revenue. In other words, 930,000 approximately. Tax rate for 2016, $1.5995. for $100 of assessment, an increase of 15 cents. If we compare this with a typical house in Dieppe of $157,000, tax rate for 2016 would be $2,500. For the same, the increase of the tax rate is 1.5. Yes, not 15 cents, 1.5 cents. Yeah, I wouldn't go that high. So property tax for 2016, as saying, is 2,511. Compared to last year, it's an increase of $23. It's $15 by $100,000. So $300,000 is 15 times 3. Operating budget of water and sewer. Here it's increased, that we're suggesting an increase of, as you can see, of $16 compared to last year. So we go from $884 to $900. Increases. In this case, there's been a reduction of $6 for water, $17 for sewers, and $5 for the GMSC, which is now TransAqua. That represents $16, and in other words, an increase of 1.81%. For expenses, $12 million. As you can see, purchase of water, $1.7 million. Used water treatment, 2.4. Transmission of water, 2.9. Sewer maintenance, 1.4. Financing, 2.7, capital of the operation, $0.7 million, and administration, $0.2 million, in total of $12 million, fairly similar to last year. General capital budget, $10.9 million for projects this year. The majority, as you can see, is in transport at $10.6 million. The list of projects, I know that Mr. Mayor is going to present them during his message, so I didn't put the list here. And the financing of these projects, the 10.9 is from the gas tax grant, 1.3. Capital of the operation is 0.41 million. Capital reserve is 100,000. The existing authority from 2016, in other words, the projects from last year that brought about surpluses, which are coming back here, 600,000. Loans, we're borrowing 1.5 next year, and then the provincially designated routes program, 3.3 million. Little chart here to show you what we forecast for general funds. How do we see the following 5 years, the next 5 years? This is not real, but this is what we can forecast with the data that we have. For the tax rate, as you've seen, we estimated the increase at 3.5. It's 3.26, so it's went down. So for 2017, 18, 19, and 20, we're reducing it by 0.5% every year. So to 1% in 2020, which means that there's a there'll have to be an increases in expenses. That for 2017 to 2019, we can see that there'll be an increase of property taxes of 3.5 cents for each of these 3 years. Capital projects this year, we talked about it earlier, 10.9 million. For 2017, approximately 40 million, and thereafter 9.2, 6.8, and 15 million by 2020. For borrowing, 1.5. 2016, 24 million for 2017, the big year, and then 2.8, and then 300,000 and 4.4 for 2020. Debt ratio 15.9, and it'll be reducing thereafter. For the capital budget of water and sewer services. For 2016, we have projects for 1.7 million. The financing of these projects, 700,000 for capital operating, gas tax grant, 400,000, provincially designated road program, 300,000, and reserve, 300,000. Forecast over 5 years for water and sewer. We're forecasting increase of sewage water, fairly stable except for 2018, when the year when we'll renegotiate the contract for the purchase of water. Capital projects are going to be going from 1.75 million, 7.5 million, and then they'll start reducing 2019 and 2020. Borrowing, no borrowing in 2016, 1.2 for 2017, 2.4 for 2018, and then practically nothing for 2019, 2020. Debt ratio is going to stay stable at approximately 23%. And the summary of the 10 resolutions that you'll be discussing later on tonight. So now we go to the resolutions, but before that are the questions from members of council. That was an overview of the budget as it was presented tonight. Nothing, so thank you. But before going to the resolutions, I'd like to first of all thank the members of staff, members of council, who worked during the budget process with their suggestions and comments for the preparation of the budget for 2016. It represents our mission, which is to offer quality services to residents while making sure that we're making the responsible decisions for the good of all. Regardless of the increase of the tax rate of 1.5 cents, in other words, $1.5995 per $100 of assessment, we still remain among the municipalities with the lowest tax rate. And unless things change, we'll always be the second lowest among the cities, the 8 cities of New-Brunswick. Many important projects are forecast. The renovation of Heritage House Doiron on Amiro, the Place 1604 ice sheet, the reconstruction of Champlain between Acadie and Boulevard Dieppe, on condition of a partnership with the provincial government. Phase 1 of Thomas between Gauvin and Thériault. Melançon Road between Amiro and Bourg. 6, the drawings and specs to finish off the Fox Street Road, the plans or the designs, drawings and specs for the extension of the Boulevard Dieppe section towards Leblanc, and the intersection of Bourg and Chartersville towards Pascal, and finally the intersection of College and Champlain in an expansion project of College Street. 2016 has been a good year, commercially speaking, and I'm convinced that other projects will be announced over the next couple of months. We must continue to manage our growth and our expenses in a responsible manner, all the while counting on key projects. Once again, thanks to the staff who are making sure that the city of Dieppe is doing its job rigorously and in a responsible way. So now we go with the readings of the different fund transfers. So first of all, before going to the adoption of the budget as such. So item 10.2.1, transfer of funds, General Operating Reserve Fund. Mr. Leblanc. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Council authorized a transfer in the amount of $300,000 from the General Operating Fund to the General Operating Reserve Fund. That Council authorized a transfer in the amount of $76,000 from the General Operating Reserve Fund to the General Operating Fund. So moved. Moved by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Dallaire. On the question? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. 10.2.1.1 is carried as presented. Next, 10.2.1.2, transfer of funds, General Capital Reserve Fund. Mr. LeBlanc, if you want to continue. That Council authorize a transfer in the amount of $619,000 from the General Operating Fund to the General Capital Reserve Fund, and that Council authorize a transfer in the amount of $200,000 from the General Capital Reserve Fund to the General Capital Fund. So moved. Moved by Councillor LeBlanc, seconded by Councillor Dallaire on the question. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried. 10.2.1.3. I would ask Councillor Thibodeau, please, to read the resolution. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That Council authorize a transfer in the amount of $43,200 from the Water and Sewer Operating Fund to the Water and Sewer Operating Reserve Fund. That Council authorize a transfer in the amount of $30,000 from the Water and Sewer Operating Reserve Fund to the Water and Sewer Operating Fund. So moved, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Thibodeau on the question. All those in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. Councillor Thibodeau for 10.2.1.4. That Council authorize a transfer in the amount of $345,000 from the Water and Sewer Operating Fund to the Water and Sewer Capital Reserve Fund. So moved. Moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Béliveau on the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. For Resolution 10.2.1.5, I would ask Councillor Brideau, please. That the Council authorize the following commitments from the following reserve funds. General Operating Reserve Funds, account number 7-4-20-12-8910. Emergency measures, $75,000. Snow removal, $250,000. 3. Building renovation program, $353,913. 4. Equipment program, Public Works, $22,000. Equipment program, recreational facilities, $32,277. Equipment program, information technologies, $13,000. Engineering, global traffic plan, 2040, $50,800. Engineering, traffic light synchronization, $15,000. Engineering, driver feedback sign, $6,500. Engineering, Petitcodiac River access design, $10,000. Engineering, tactile tiles at intersection where required, $7,000. Engineering, crosswalk, Anna-Manenfant School, $40,000. Organizational performance, Lean Six Sigma, $51,000. Gender-based analysis, $10,000. Admin, downtown parking study, $75,000. Finance, potential claims, $25,000. Finance, again, discount on future obligation, $80,000. IT SIG software urban planning, $48,500. IT Ludic, $30,390. IT training, $6,950. IT systems development and integration, $24,000. IT professional service and maintenance, Laserfish software, $26,000. IT purchase of computers, RMS Web records management, $23,530. IT, records management, access to information, software, $14,450. IT, purchase of software, automated timesheet, $20,000. Leisure, Hall of Fame, $6,000.
Leisure, seniors in motion, $14,000. Leisure, partnerships, aquatic and sports center, $6,272. Leisure, presentation program for the Kodiak River, $12,500. Leisure, the purchase of artwork, $32,000. Leisure, Gala des Illoises, $35,000. Leisure, the 15th of August, 2019 project, $25,000. Leisure, 60th anniversary book project, $90,000. Leisure, renovation, tennis courts, $7,000. Communications, welcome sign at the airport, $30,000. Estimate for the RCMP invoice, 2017 budget, $500,000. The Tripartite Green Initiative Program, $100,000. And the Financial Incentive Program, underground parking, $150,000. Now, the Water and Sewer Operating Reserve Fund, account number 7-4-20-12-8930. Equipment Program, Information Technologies, IT, $8,200. Engineering, Municipal Bylaw, $10,000. Inlet Repair, $20,000. Master Plan, Water System, $75,000. Babin Pumping Station, Fire Pump, $17,000. Potential Claims, $12,000. Impact Assessment, $22,138. Legal Fees, $30,000. Engineering Department, Water, $25,000. Backflow Prevention Program, $10,000. Repair and Maintenance, Materials, Sewer, $25,000. Discount on Obligations, $33,000. Purchase of Computers, RMS Web, Records Management, $11,075. Records Management, Access to Information Software, $7,770. Future Operational Needs, to be determined, $250,000. Now, the General Capital Reserve Fund, account number 7-4-20-12-8920. Vehicle Program, Fire Department, $668,000. Equipment Program, Public Works Department, $551,600. Equipment Program, Culture, Leisure and Community Life Department, $359,591. Building Repair Program, $108,000. Bus Replacement Program, $150,000. Future Land Purchases, $350,000. Playgrounds or Sports Fields, $75,000. Surplus 2015 to reduce the borrowing in 2016, $100,000. And the Water and Sewer Capital Reserve Fund, account number 7-4-20-12-8940. Equipment Program, Public Works Department, $243,000. Future Capital Needs, Sewer, to be determined, $455,000. Future Capital Needs, Water, to be determined, $255,000. And, Your Worship, I so move it. Thank you. Councillor Cormier seconds the motion. Questions from councillors? No questions? We've already seen all of these figures. All those in favour of the resolution will signify by saying aye. Contrary, nay. It is the resolution 10.2.1.5 is carried. We are now on 10.2.2 On the general operating fund budget, for the first resolution, Councillor Nolan. Your Worship, that Council resolves that the sum of $50,271,608 be the municipality's total budget, that the sum of $46,239,729 be the warrant of the municipality for the ensuing year, and that the municipality's tax rate be $1.5995, and that Council orders and directs the levying by the Minister of Local Government of said amount on real property liable to taxation under the Assessment Act within the municipality of Dieppe. And I so move it, Your Worship. It's been moved by Councillor Nolan, seconded by Councillor Béliveau. On the question. No questions. All those in favor of the resolution will signify by saying aye. Contrary, nay. It is carried as presented. 10.2.2.2, the Water and Sewer Operating Fund Budget. Councillor Nolan, Your Worship, that the 2016 Water and Sewer Operating Fund be approved as follows. $7,110,388 for water and $4,918,871 for the sewer. That, pursuant to the bylaw respecting the water and sewage systems, the user charge per unit of the year 2016 be set as water, $470 for water, $430 for sewer. That the metered water rates for the year 2016 be 1.6944 per cubic meter, and that the user charge for the sewage service for metered customers for the year 2016 be equal to a percentage of the amount of the water rate, this percentage being determined by the ratio of the current sewerage rate to the current water rate. This calculation provides us with a user charge for the sewage system of $1.5502 per cubic meter for the year 2016, and I so move it, Your Worship. It's been moved by Councillor Nolson, seconded by Councillor Leblanc on the question. All those in favour of the resolution will signify by saying aye. Contrary, nay. It's carried as presented. 10.2.2.3, Councillor Cormier, would you read the resolution, please? Thank you. That Your Worship, that Council accepts the transfers authorized within the 2015 operating budget during the 2016 budget process meeting held on November 24th, 2015, and I so move it. It's been moved by Councillor Cormier, seconded by Councillor Thibodeau on the question. All those in favour of the resolution will signify by saying aye. Contrary, nay. It's carried as presented. 10.2.3, Capital Works Program for 2016.
À mon tour d'essayer de me retrouver.
Councillor Béliveau, would you like to read the resolution? 10.2.3.1. We are on page 118. Your Worship, that Council authorizes an application to borrow the sum of $1,540,000 to be submitted to the Municipal Capital Borrowing Board in order to finance the following projects. General Capital Budget. Projects. General Administration Department. Land purchase, $300,000. Transportation-related services, infrastructure, various streets, $10,610,000. For a total of $10,910,000. Source of funds, 2016 General Operating Budget, $4,128,403. 2015 Existing Authority, $616,000. Provincially Designated Highways Program, $3,295,000. capital borrowing, $1,540,000. 2016 gas tax grant, $1,230,597. And the General Capital Reserve Fund, $100,000, for a total of $10,910,000. The Water and Sewer Capital Budget projects, Environmental Hygiene Services, Water and Sewer Infrastructure, $1,686,000. Source of funds, 2016 Water and Sewer Operating Budget, $747,000. Water and Sewer Capital Reserve Fund, $258,801. Provincially Designated Highways Program, $270,000. 2016 Gas Tax Grant, $410,199, for a total of $1,686,000, at an interest rate to be determined by the Board for a period not exceeding 15 years for the General Capital Budget and 20 years for the Water and Sewer Capital Budget, and that Council authorizes the City of Dieppe to borrow on an interim basis an amount not to exceed $1,540,000 at the prime lending rate until long-term financing is arranged. And I so move it. Thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Béliveau, seconded by Councillor Thibodeau on the question. All those in favor of the resolution will signify by saying aye. Contrary, nay. It is carried as presented. 10.2.4. No, I'm sorry. 10.2.3.2. The Capital Works Program 2016, the project list. Councillor Leblanc. That Council authorizes the following projects within the 2016 Capital Works Program. Transportation, new asphalt, various streets, pavement management on Melanson and Chartersville Roads and Thomas Street. 2. College Street extension. 3. Land purchases for downtown parking. 4. Improvements, designated highways, Champlain. 5. Culvert replacement, Champlain. 6. Future development. 7. Plan and specifications, snow storage area, Dieppe Boulevard between Melanson and Leblanc Road and Fox Creek Road. Water and sewer, sanitary sewer installation, Chartersville. Pre-design study, sanitary sewer. 3. Infrastructure work, water and sewer services relating to general capital projects under the pavement management and designated highway programs, and I so move, Your Worship. It's been moved by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Cormier on the question. Councillor Béliveau. Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to check here. We see that the fourth item under improvements, designated highways, Champlain, and number 5, culvert replacement, Champlain. Is this part of eligible? Is this part of the expenses that can be cost shared with the province? Yes. These are part of them, but these are really unique. This is why we've set it aside as it's a unique project. But yes, it is eligible. Yes. Thank you. So all those in favor of the resolution will signify by saying aye. Contrary will say nay, and it's carried as presented. 10.2.4, the City of Dieppe Employee Pension Plan. We had the same provider for the Dieppe Employee Pension Plan for the last few years. We had a tender for letters of interest, and we got 5 submissions. An internal evaluation committee as well as the Pension Plan Management Committee did an in-depth analysis of all of the bids received, and the one that was chosen was Great West Life to provide the pension plan for the employees of the City of Dieppe, and we asked that the that council authorizes the immediate transfer of this pension plan from Standard Life Insurance Company to Great West Life. And that's what the committee and the administration recommend after this in-depth analysis. Thank you. To read the resolution, Councillor Brideau. Your Worship, that Council appoints Great West Life as the City of Dieppe employee pension plan provider and authorizes the immediate transfer of said pension plan from Standard Life Insurance Company to Great West Life. And I so move. Thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Brideau, seconded by Councillor Dallaire. On the question. Yes. I have a question, Your Worship. Was a part of this assessment, did it, in the course of this assessment, did you look at the administration charges? Was that looked at? Does Great West Life give us a more attractive plan in terms of the administration charges? Yes, Councillor, Mr. Thériault. Yes, Councillor Béliveau, that's one of the things that we looked at. And out of the 5 that we assessed, this had the best administration, or EMF, as they're called. Thank you, Councillor Leblanc. Thank you. If I understood correctly, this is the company that manages the assets of the pension plan. Is that right? Yes, it is. Thank you. If there are no further questions, all those in favor of the resolution will signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. It's carried. 10.2.5, the Leadership in Asset Management Program. Yes, within the Green Municipal Fund from FCM, we suggest that Dieppe participate in the Leadership in Asset Management Program. 10 municipalities throughout the country will be chosen to participate in this, so we ask that we apply to become a part of this program to make sure that our assets are well managed. We'd propose that we apply for this program, and 50% of the cost would be reimbursed to the City of Dieppe at the end of the program. And it's for your authorization. Thank you. Councillor Dallaire. That Council authorizes the expenditure relating to the City of Dieppe's participation in the Leadership in Asset Management Program of the Green Municipal Fund at the cost of $65,000 plus HST, taking into account that 50% of these costs will be reimbursed to the City of Dieppe once the program ends, and further authorizes this expenditure to be defrayed from account number 1-2-20-19-2590, General Operating Budget, Administration, Other. And I so move. Thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Dallaire and seconded by Councillor Nolan. On the question, Councillor Béliveau. Thank you, Your Worship. Could we know how many people and who are the managers of this? What kind of training will they be receiving? Mr. Thériault? Mr. Thériault? Yes. Well, we're asked to have a team of 3 or 4 key people within the organization. The treasurer or the assistant treasurer is one, the general manager of the city is another, and there might be somebody from engineering as well as the director of leisure services. And the training will be given over how long a period? Is the training given out throughout the year, or is it an intensive 1 week or 2 weeks? It will last 12 months, the project. Thank you. Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you. If there are no further questions, all those in favor of the resolution will signify by saying aye. Contrary, nay. It's carried as presented. 10.3. 10.3.1, Engineering Services. Yes, so the 2016 budget has been approved. So here we're asking to undertake to use the services of EXPX Services Inc. to undertake the engineering services for the Thomas and Melanson Street reconstruction project pursuant to a proposal dated December 2nd, and the engineering services are estimated to be $66,554.40 plus HST. And to read the resolution then, Councillor Cormier. Thank you, Your Worship. That Council authorizes EXP Services Inc. to undertake the engineering services for the Thomas and Melanson Street reconstruction project pursuant to the proposal dated December 2nd, 2015, and further authorizes the cost of said engineering services estimated at $66,554.40 plus HST be defrayed from account number 3-3-35-58-7601, being the General Capital Budget Pavement Management. And I so move it. Thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Cormier, and seconded by Councillor Brideau on the question. It was it's $66,554, yes, and 40 cents, as written. Thank you. Any further questions? If not, all those in favor of the resolution will signify by saying aye. Contrary, nay. It's carried as presented. Next item, 10.3.2, expropriation. Once again, we're starting to plan the Champlain and du Collège intersection, and so we need to expropriate the parcel of land having PID 009899921. This would allow the city to start the process and to use our legal counsel, McIntyre Finn, to undertake the necessary procedures and to authorize the employees or the officers to enter upon this parcel of land to do the work necessary for the to make sure that the planning is properly done and to start planning for all of the work that needs to be done before the construction. Thank you. Who would like to read the resolution? Councillor Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. That Council authorizes the City to commence the procedures to expropriate all interests other than those of the City of Dieppe in the parcel of land having PID 00989921, located on Champlain Street in the City of Dieppe in the County of Westmoreland and Province of New Brunswick, as shown on the plan prepared by WSP for the purpose of carrying out work to improve the traffic flow at the intersection of Champlain Street and du Collège Street. That Council authorize its legal counsel, McIntyre Finn, to undertake the necessary procedures and that all required approvals from City Council be coordinated with the City Clerk. And that Council authorizes its employees and or its officers to enter upon the parcel of land having PID 00989921, located on Champlain Street in the City of Dieppe in the County of Westmoreland and Province of New Brunswick, in order to ascertain the suitability of the land for the purposes for which its expropriation in whole or in part as is required, and may take surveys, take levels, and make such borings, sink such trial pits, or conduct such other tests as are necessary to ascertain the suitability of the land. And I so move it, Your Worship. Thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Nolan. On the question. All those in favor of the resolution will signify by saying aye. Contrary, nay. It's carried as presented. Next item, expropriation for Acadie Avenue Amiro Street reconstruction. Yes, so this is for the project that is completed for Acadie Amiro. We have started a procedure of expropriation to authorize a payment in order to settle this matter. And so this is for the parcel of land 15A, 15B that you are aware of. And at the end of this all, after all of the transfers of projects, the total amount that will be paid out will be $65,240 to pursuant to the agreement and to pay the entire compensation. So this will settle all of the outstanding matters on the Amiro Acadie, for land purchase on Amiro Acadie Street. Thank you. Who would like to read the resolution? Councillor Cormier. Thank you, Your Worship. Whereas Council authorized the payment of $69,400 as the offer of the total market value amount of the owner's interests on the properties designated as parcels 15A and 15B, as shown on expropriation plan number 3494360, filed in the Land Titles Office, New-Brunswick, Westmoreland, of which expropriation by the City of Dieppe was confirmed with Notice of Expropriation Registration Number 35090118 on July 30th, 2015, that Council authorizes the payment of $65,240 pursuant to the agreement with said landowners in order to pay the entire compensation. And I so move it, Your Worship. Thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Cormier, seconded by Councillor Dallaire on the question. All those in favor of the resolution will signify by saying aye. Contrary, nay. It's carried. 10.3.4. Once again, it's an expropriation. If you remember, on November 23rd, we had accepted another resolution entitled Expropriation Acadie Amiro, but there was this is a resolution here this evening with an amendment. So this is to adopt it and to settle this matter. Thank you. To read the resolution, Councillor Dallaire. Be it resolved that Council accepts that the resolution entitled Expropriation Acadie Avenue Amiro Street Reconstruction Project, adopted November 23rd, 2015, be repealed and replaced with the following. Be it resolved that the City of Dieppe, having received and considered the report of the Expropriations Advisory Officer, Mr. Jonathan Roquenoel, dated November 2nd, 2015, confirms its notice of intention to expropriate, and that a notice of expropriation be issued with respect to the land described in the notice filed on October 1st, 2015 in the Westmoreland County Registry Office as number 35305482, and that Council authorizes that an amount of the compensation and legal fees be defrayed from account number 3-3-35-58-78608, General Capital Budget, Reconstruction, Acadie Amiro. And I so move. Thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Dallaire, seconded by Councillor Bidreau on the question. All those in favor of the resolution will signify by saying aye. Contrary, nay. It's carried. 10.3.2 is carried. 10.3.5, Mr. Melançon. Yes, annually the province asks us to establish a list of priorities for the next 5 years for the provincially designated highways. So you have here in front of these list from 2016 to 2020. In 2016, we recommend, as was presented during the budget process, the mill and pave of Champlain Street between Acadie and Midland and Dieppe Boulevard, including the Du Collège intersection. In 2016, asphalt preservation and crack sealing on Dover from Amiro to city limits. And 2017, the reconstruction design of Champlain Street from Moncton Flight College to the city limits. In 2017, the asphalt preservation and crack sealing on Dieppe Boulevard, microsurfacing on Champlain Street between Acadie and Champlain and the 15. 2018, reconstruction of Champlain Street from Moncton Flight College to the city limits. 2019, mill and pave of Amiro Street between Beaumont Street and Fox Creek Road. 2019, asphalt preservation and crack sealing on Acadie and Amiro Street, and mill and pave of Champlain Street between Dieppe Boulevard and Moncton Flight College in 2020. And the amounts will be read in the course of the resolution. And here, this is what is being recommended by the engineering department for the next 5 years. Who would like to read the resolution?
Thibodeau.
Mr. Thibodeau. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That Council approve the City of Dieppe's priority projects under the Provincial Designated Highways Improvement Program for 2016 to 2020 period, as outlined below. 2016, Mill and Pave, Champlain Street and Collège Street signalized intersection from Acadie Avenue to Midland Drive, $6,610,000. Financing source, City of Dieppe, $2,961,280. New Brunswick Department of Transportation and Infrastructure, $3,648,720. 2016, asphalt preservation, crack sealing, Dover Road, from Amiro Street to city limits. Microsurfacing, Acadie Avenue, from Champlain Street to Normandy Street, $120,000. Financing source, City of Dieppe, $53,760. New Brunswick Department of Transportation and Infrastructure, $66,240. 2017, reconstruction, design, Champlain Street, from Moncton Flight College property to city limits, $350,000. Financing source, City of Dieppe, $156,800. New Brunswick Department of Transportation and Infrastructure, $193,200. 2017, asphalt preservation, crack sealing, Dieppe Boulevard, from Champlain Street to Route 15. Microsurfacing, Champlain Street, from Acadie Avenue to city limits, $210,000. Financing source, City of Dieppe, $94,080. New Brunswick Department of Transportation and Infrastructure, $115,920. 2018, reconstruction, Champlain Street, from Moncton Flight College property to city limits, $6,650,000. Financing source, City of Dieppe, $2,979,200. New Brunswick Department of Transportation and Infrastructure, $3,670,800. 2019, Mill and Pave, Amiro Street, from Beaumont Street to Fox Creek Road, $1,660,000. Financing source, City of Dieppe, $916,320. New Brunswick Department of Transportation and Infrastructure, $743,680. 2019, asphalt preservation, crack sealing, Acadie Avenue, Amiro Street, from Alain Gillette Street to Chartersville Road, $30,000. Financing source, City of Dieppe, $13,440. New Brunswick Department of Transportation and Infrastructure, $16,560. 2020, Mill and Pave, Champlain Street, from Dieppe Boulevard to Moncton Flight College property, $3,121,000. Financing source, City of Dieppe, $1,398,208. New Brunswick Department of Transportation and Infrastructure, $1,722,792. So moved. Moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Leblanc. On the question? On the question, Mr. Cormier. Thank you, Mr. May. Is it an error? Or for 2019, City of Dieppe, the City of Dieppe is giving more, or is it the type of work that is being done? Mill and Pave, the City of Dieppe is paying more. Normally, it should be the other way around. Yes, New Brunswick Department of Transportation and Infrastructure should be $916,320,000. $916,320. So it should be noted in the resolution that those two figures will be reversed. For 2019, Mill and Pave, Amiro Street, City of Dieppe will be financing $743,680. Monsieur Leblanc, you still second the resolution? Mr. Thibodeau. on the question. Thank you. The question is, when I see the figures, it seems that the province has already adopted the resolution. Has it been adopted? We've based our budgets on the new formula that the province suggested. It hasn't been adopted yet provincially, but I mean, if we trust what has been requested of us by New-Brunswick, I know that there are many cities and villages who still have problems with the new formula that is being presented. But since we have accepted this proposition at the Municipal Council, and I think it was also accepted by the Association of Municipalities, I think there's still some work to be done for certain cities and villages. But with this new formula, it gives us a savings of almost 6% on new work. So it's pretty significant compared to the 50-50 that we were dealing with in the past. So it's something that's interesting, very interesting for municipalities. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure. I knew that there were discussions, but okay, thank you. So now, all those in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. It is carried as presented. Now, 10.4.1, organizational performance. So for the shuttle service that's been set up for a couple of years, we're recommending the extension of the program with the contract with Mr. Maurice Richard. So it's a possibility for the city to extend the contract for another 12 months. There's no changes to the details of the contract. So this is a service that adds to the Kodiak Transpo service. It's recommended for approval by Council. Reading of the resolution, Mr. Bellevaux. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That Council authorize an extension to the shuttle service contract with Maurice Richard for the period from January 1st to December 31, 2016, in accordance with the terms outlined in the contract annexed to the memorandum dated November 13, 2016. All those in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Resolution is carried as presented. Page 155, in the text, item number 2, it's written 53, parentheses 52, or brackets 52. I think they wanted to write 52 weeks, because I don't think there are 53 weeks. 53 weeks? I'd like to have 53 weeks, but, oh, okay. No, it's just in the text, maybe for changes to the contract. If it's been signed already, maybe not. Yeah, I guess it's a typo. Oh, that's what I thought it was, yes. Okay, but thank you for having noted it. It'll be adjusted in the contract. So the resolution is carried as presented. Thank you. No municipal bylaws tonight. Notice of motion, none received. So inquiries and announcements by members of council. And I believe we are starting on Mr. Leblanc's side tonight. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just offer my best wishes for the holidays to the citizens of the municipality, also to the members of the management teams and the staff of Dieppe, and to members of council also. And have a good evening. Thank you. Councillor Brideau. Thank you. Same for me. I also give my best wishes for the holidays. I'd also like to mention my thanks to the residents for the support of the people who supported the different funding campaigns for different associations, be it the Tree of Hope or the food banks. I just wanted to say thank you to all the people who participate willingly and who give donations. And I also want to wish a happy New Year 2016. Thank you. Councillor Nolan, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to wish a great holidays to all the citizens of Dieppe, as well as the province, but specifically our first responders, our paramedics, ambulance people, firefighters, as well as the other people who work during the holidays and who won't be able to be with their families because they're working to protect us and to respond to emergencies. So thank you very much. I'd also like to announce that I will not be re-offering in 2016. I decided to maybe make the announcement before the holidays that I will not be re-offering to encourage people who are thinking about it. They'll have time to talk it over with their families. It's a position that will be vacant as a general or councillor at large. I will be available to answer any questions that future candidates might be interested in asking me. You can contact me through my email. Thank you. Thank you very much. Madame Dallaire. Thank you, Your Worship. Nothing tonight. Councillor Béliveau. Ah, surprise. Thank you, Santa Claus. I mean, Mr. Mayor. The first thing I would like to say is that we've received the newsletter on continued improvements. I think it should be noted. It's Lean Six Sigma. So I congratulate staff who does absolutely fantastic work finding efficiencies for the municipality. So thank you very much. Equally, as my colleagues, I would also like to wish people a great holiday, safe, have fun, but in a responsible way. I'd also like to thank all the numerous volunteers. I don't know if we have statistics as to how many volunteers we have in the municipality, but I would say it's pretty close to 1,000 people who give of their time to make our city beautiful. So thank you to these volunteers who encourage, and also thanks to the people who work with these volunteers and to staff, all staff of Dieppe, my colleagues and your families. Wish you a great Christmas. Take the time to take a break. Thank you and good evening, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Thibodeau. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't really have any announcements to make, but I'd just like to repeat my best wishes for all the residents of the city of Dieppe, and especially those from Ward 4. Thank you. Well, one is reoffering for sure. Councillor Cormier, 2 or 3 points. I would like to thank once again the citizens for their patience on the reconstruction of Acadie Miro in the marsh. I join my voice to those of my colleagues to wish everybody Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to our citizens. And I'd also like to thank our staff for their professionalism, their engagement, their dedication. And I'd also like to thank everybody on the participatory budget. Thank you. You stole some of my thunder. I'd like to congratulate all the people who participated in the participatory budget, not only the winners, but everybody who participated is a winner. And once again, I thank the staff, and more specifically, our hero, our champion in this endeavor, Mr. Luc Richard. So congratulations to everyone. It was a beautiful effort, and it shows clearly that we have a vibrant community, an innovative community, and that we're going to continue to move forward. I'd also like to take this opportunity. I don't know if I hope nobody's timing my 4 minutes, but I'd also like to take the opportunity to ask people, now that those little white things have started falling, that we have a program of adoption of fire hydrants. We encourage citizens to help. We never know how long, a couple of minutes it takes to remove the snow around the fire hydrants. It might make seconds of difference to our firefighters who answer calls. Lastly, and maybe one of the most important things that's going on in our communities everywhere in Canada, I'd like to invite you Thursday, the 7th of January. I repeat, Thursday, 7th of January, at a public information session concerning the welcoming of Syrian refugees. The meeting is going to be at Municipal Hall here in Dieppe from 6 to 8:30. There'll be more details that will be communicated in the coming weeks in our different media, and also the other public media. So once again, as my colleagues have done, Merry Christmas to all, Happy New Year, and to my colleagues in the semicircle here, and especially to our staff also, who continue to do fantastic work in their own departments. As a mayor, they make my life easy. So I thank you for that, and I wish you a great holiday and great health.